Am I the a-hole for not babysitting my ex-husband's kid? My 30 female ex-husband, 32 male, and I have 2 children, 4 male, 2 female. We have been divorced just about 6 months, and he is now expecting a baby with his new girlfriend. I'm admittedly not over him. We were together 10 years, my entire adulthood. It wasn't a messy split, and I'm still bitter and hurt about it. While he seems to have completely moved on somehow. When we had our oldest, neither of us wanted him in daycare. No judgment, we just didn't feel comfortable. So I stayed home and eventually started my own business that allows me to work 99% remotely. My parents are also local and retired and help me out as much as they can. This arrangement works for me, and I get to spend time with both of my kids. Now, ex's girlfriend is 5 months pregnant, and they got in a huge fight because she asked him to tour daycares, and he said absolutely not. He wants her to stay home with a baby, that none of his kids are to go in daycare as admittedly the ones here do suck. He called me to vent and I listened. Then he dropped a bomb. He asked if I would be willing to take care of their baby, since I'm home with our 2, and get help from my parents. And when I have to take the kids to the office, I can, because I own it. He then mentioned that I know how he feels about his kids in one of these daycares. And I sort of lost it on him. It was a year and a half of walled up anger and hurt. And I said some nasty things that I've since apologized for. Fast forward to 3 days later, new girlfriend pulled me to the side when I dropped off my kids to their house and asked why I was so ugly about it, and why I thought my kids were better than hers, and why her baby doesn't deserve the same things mine got. I never said that, but apologized if anything I said came off like that. Told her I'm happy for them, which I'm not, but pleasantries, but was certainly not going to babysit their kid. She's a nurse, so I get she can't work from home and doesn't want to give up her career, but they should have thought about that. I left before it blew up again, but ex called me about 2 hours later and asked me to come get the kids because he and new girlfriend were fighting and he didn't want them around for it. I picked them up, of course, and ex texted me on a drive home and asked, again, if I would babysit for them for $200 per week. I said no, and he called me bitter and said I'm being an a-hole because I'm hurt. I don't see it this way at all. I reiterated that the request is absurd, and I would not be talking about it anymore. This was yesterday, and all day today new girlfriend has been texting me and having her friends and family review bomb my business. I'm not worried about it. My clients know my work. Ex-husband hasn't said anything else but has been shorter with me in our conversations about our kids. So am I the a-hole for refusing to keep my ex-husband's new baby? Now for the top comments before reading the mini updates. Not a-hole. You are never obligated to take care of someone else's child. Also, if you haven't actually provided services to her and her friends/family, send a cease and desist letter. It can be defamation. 100% on this. It's supremely crappy for her to be entitled about the childcare, but to adversely affect your income this way is criminal. This. X needs to put a stop to this, because affecting OP's income also affects the children they share. Not a-hole. I don't understand how they can possibly expect you to watch their children. This is not your responsibility. Does he know that you're still not over him? Asking because it sounds like he could be using your feelings for him to guilt you into this. Stick with a resounding no. He knows. I made a stupid mistake right after the divorce was final, right around the time I got new girlfriend pregnant. Ouch. And fell for his regret speech. We had sex, and I told him I didn't want this either, and maybe we could work on things. We had been having the start over conversation up until new girl found out she was pregnant, and he finally told me about it 2 months ago. My heart is broken, but logically I know we're done here. I'll get past it. You have no idea how badly I wish I could give you a hug. I'm sorry you're going through this, and that is clearly using your feelings against you. Yes, you made a mistake, but you were/are in love, and that makes us do stupid things. Still doesn't mean you deserve to be taken advantage of. You should stop letting him rant to you about his life. Just discuss the children only, nothing else. And get a cease and desist for girlfriends, friends, and family for trying to ruin your business. Not a-hole. And you should consult a lawyer about the review bombing. Sue them. The thought of being back in a courtroom with my ex and his new girlfriend makes me want to projectile vomit. I'm like 80% sure Google has a resolution for this. It's midnight here now, but I'll be looking at my options tomorrow. I'm more annoyed than anything. Now for the mini updates. Thank you for all the support in the comments. I probably can't reply to all questions, but I will try to answer some as I come across them while I have some free time. A few of the repeat things I've seen addressed below. It looks like Google has flagged the influx of reviews for spam, and I did call my lawyer to see what she recommends going forward. Yes, my ex was cheating with his girlfriend for some time before we divorced. I don't know how long exactly, and I don't think I want to know. I'm also a licensed professional, so going against her nursing license is a surefire way to make this worse. Lawyer will advise on how to proceed. Second and probably final update for now. Google is removing the reviews. Wackadoodle and her idiot family all have the same last name, so it was pretty easy to see the reviews weren't genuine. The ones from her friends with different names were removed too, because again, it was poorly executed at best. Ex has apologized for her behavior, and apparently he is taking some time away and she thought he was with me. I have no idea where he went after he left my house Tuesday night when the kids went to bed. He certainly is not staying here. We have only spoken to confirm pickup from swim lessons today. My parents had already planned to have the kids this weekend, as Ex has a graduation to go to and I'm going to the beach with friends. So I don't have to worry about where they're going since Ex is effectively homeless right now. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not allowing my ex to attend our child's birthday party? I, 34 female, and my ex-husband, 36 male, divorced 2 years ago due to irreconcilable differences. We share custody of our 7-year-old daughter Lily and have managed to maintain a relatively civil co-parenting relationship. However, things recently took a turn for the worse. Last week, Lily turned 8 and I decided to throw her a birthday party at our home. I planned the event meticulously, inviting Lily's friends, our family members, and a few close neighbors. I wanted it to be a special day for her. However, when I sent out the invitation to my ex-husband, I specifically mentioned that he would not be able to bring his girlfriend. Now, my reasoning behind this decision is that my ex-husband has been dating someone new for the past 6 months, and Lily hasn't had much interaction with her. I didn't think it was appropriate to have a stranger present at her birthday party, especially since my ex-husband and I agreed to introduce new partners to Lily gradually. My ex-husband, upon receiving the invitation, immediately called me furious and demanding an explanation. He accused me of trying to exclude him from Lily's life and claimed that he had every right to be there for a special day. He argued that his girlfriend had already met Lily on a few occasions and saw no issue with her attending the party. Naturally, this turned into a heated argument with both of us standing our ground. I firmly stated that I didn't think it was fair to Lily to have a stranger present, regardless of a few brief meetings. My ex-husband insisted that he had just as much right to be there as I did, and accused me of being spiteful and controlling. The argument escalated, and we ended up involving our respective families, who took sides and added fuel to the fire. Some of my family members supported my decision, claiming that Lily's birthday should be about her and her closest loved ones. However, my ex-husband's family argued that he should be allowed to attend, and that his girlfriend was an important part of his life now, and therefore she should be included. We couldn't reach a compromise, and in the end, my ex-husband threatened legal action if I didn't allow him to attend a party. This left me feeling torn between wanting to make Lily happy and not wanting to escalate the situation further. Am I the a-hole for excluding my ex-husband from our daughter's birthday party? Added to answer a few questions. Lily has no opinion. Her only concern is having all of her friends there and making sure the flavor of her cake is up to her standards. As her father and I have 50-50 custody and the birthday parties during my time, I feel like I have a large say in this. Additionally, she has met the girlfriend twice. They haven't exchanged more than a few hellos and she would not be comfortable alone with her. Therefore, I do not feel that it's appropriate to invite her. My ex-husband is free to come. His girlfriend is not. Everybody sucks here. Your daughter is turning 8 and she's not a toddler. She has met the girlfriend and she's old enough to understand that you and your ex are not together, and you both will have other relationships. You don't get to control your ex when it comes to his personal life. He's in the right on the general topic, but he cannot demand to be a guest to your home or to the party. He can choose to come alone or not. Sounds like the two of you are at the dumb point of needing double events for everything that involves your child. When standing your ground with an ex means your child is hurt by the outcome, you're both a-holes. You say your daughter has no opinion, but then say she wouldn't be comfortable with her. Which is it? Comfortable alone with her. She has no opinion regarding having the girlfriend at a party, where there are probably plenty of people, but probably would feel different in a one-on-one situation. Not the a-hole. You invited him, but you are not required to have his new woman in your home. Honestly, if the OP had just been forward, I don't want your girlfriend in my house. He can either go or not. It's her legal time. He's not required to be part of it. She's not even excluding him. She's excluding the girlfriend. But she's the a-hole for trying to make it about the daughter. OP, stand your ground, but don't try to make it seem like your kid cares. You're allowed to not want people in your home. This, if you aren't comfortable hosting his new girlfriend, own it. Trying to blame it on your daughter isn't right, isn't fair, and isn't helping. You are welcome to come to Lily's party, but I am not comfortable having your new squeeze here. If you would rather have a celebration with Lily on your own, that's fine with me. Divorce is hard enough on kids, but your response is coming off very much like a control need, and it's unnecessary. My ex went through a few girlfriends before his wife, and they never missed an event. I want him happy and present, and frankly, his wife ended up being the best thing to happen to him. Your love for your child needs to be greater than your need to control. This is nonsense to react this way. Your ex is the a-hole for the court threat. Do better. Both of you. Everyone sucks here. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my father-in-law that his wife, my mother-in-law, keeps asking us for money? My 33 female and my husband Mateo, 31 male, have been married for 4 months, together for 3 years. When we were dating, his mom used to randomly call him up and ask for money anywhere from $2,000 to $6,000. He told me that she had been doing it for years, but he didn't care because he had a high-paying job and had a disposable income to give her money. Now, my father-in-law is a successful businessman in his city, and I was told that they had joint accounts, so I always found it a bit odd that she asked her son for money. When we got engaged, we discussed his mom's monetary requests, and my husband agreed he would put an end to it, and he did. She stopped calling after he refused to give her money. Last Tuesday, my mother-in-law called and asked my husband for $15,000. She said she needed it for vacation. After he told her no, she sent me a lengthy text message saying that I had no right to get involved in a mother's relationship with her son. I didn't respond. I asked my husband if his parents were having money troubles, and he said that everything is fine as far as he knows. Well, today my father-in-law and sister-in-law, husband's younger sister, came over for lunch. My father-in-law was helping us choose a bottle of wine when I asked him if everything is okay at home. He looked at me confused and asked what I was talking about. That's when my husband told him about her calling us for money. It turns out that my mother-in-law has been secretly asking my husband for money in cash. My father-in-law told us that she was withdrawing cash from the bank last year and told him it was to help pay for our wedding. But she lied. She never gave us a dime. My father-in-law left immediately, and hours later, my mother-in-law called crying, saying that I have a big mouth and ruined her life. My father-in-law wrote us a check to pay us back and is temporarily separated from my mother-in-law until he feels he can trust her again. My husband's maternal relatives are calling us and saying that I'm a giant a-hole. Am I the a-hole for bringing it up to my father-in-law that my mother-in-law is secretly harassing us for money? Edited to add, we were told tonight that she was using the money to buy lavish gifts for her friends and pay the rent. Not a-hole. You're not the one who has been lying and leeching for money. Hope your father-in-law divorces her. Not to mention that mother-in-law is blaming OP for telling father-in-law about the money she was asking for, when it was actually her own son who did it. OP just asked about money problems. Mother-in-law also blamed OP when her son said no to giving her any money. Some mother-in-laws can't get it through their heads that their sons are the ones telling them no without any influence from the daughter-in-law. It's telling that the maternal relatives are now complaining. Chances are she was sending money to them. Not the a-hole. The other replies got this one covered. Mother-in-law is using her husband and son to liquidate funds to give a lavish lifestyle to her buddies? Your edit makes it even more obvious. You busted a gold digger scammer out of concern and love for your husband and his father. Oh no! You're the catalyst for someone to stop doing something they shouldn't. They faced consequences for their actions and now they're big angry. It's natural to feel guilty for upsetting someone and for big life changes to happen to others. But sometimes it's necessary to upset someone and change circumstances. I can be naive sometimes, but even I snorted and went, "Yeah, right," when I read the edit. That's a massive pile of cow poo. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my former father-in-law he can't buy compliance? My ex asked me fairly last minute to change the custody arrangements for the summer. Her father wants to take her and the kids overseas, but the days would overlap with my days. I already have plans made, including some things that have been paid for. Her father called me after I told her no and offered to pay me to change my plans. I still said no. One of the days he wanted me to cede is one of my children's birthday. I have already planned the celebration, and I want this celebration to happen. He said they will celebrate the birthday on the trip and it will be more fun for everyone. He also said I could use the money to do something cool with the kids. I still said no. My ex told the kids about the trip and some of them want to go and are upset with me. The older understand and are fine with the plans remaining, but I think the younger kids just can't see the big picture. I just hate disappointing them. Am I being an a-hole? Not the a-hole. Why can't ex and her father change their plans? Probably because it's last minute, which is still not OP's problem. Not the a-hole. So she planned bad, but expects OP to change his plans, and then told the kids about it when OP said no, which is unacceptable. Not the a-hole. It was really crappy of your ex-father-in-law to tell the kids about the trip before having permission, so they'd be disappointed. It's also crap of your ex and father-in-law to plan a trip during your days, and during one of your kids' birthdays. They can take the trip on their days. They need to realize it's not about the money. If ex-wife and or ex-father-in-law have dual citizenship, they might actually be trying to kidnap the kids and keep them in a country that OP can't get them back from. I'm wondering if this is their plan too. I wouldn't be letting anybody take my kids overseas or even to another state. Am I the a-hole for having my kids wear tie-dye when with their dad? I, 30 female, my ex-husband, 31 male, got divorced 5 years ago. During our divorce, we owned an old single-wide mobile home, 1973, on a large piece of land that is zoned for a trailer park. He wanted a new truck and our savings, while I wanted the old trailer and the land. My ex and I have 2 girls, 8 and 7. Since my divorce, I slowly started buying old single-wides and restoring them, turning it into a business, and I love it. My girls go to their dad's and affair partner's apartment every other weekend. I started noticing their clothes, electronics, toys were not coming home. At first, I thought their dad was just keeping a few outfits there for them. However, my 8-year-old got upset when she was packing. I asked her what was wrong. She told me her dad takes her clothes and sells them online, that she doesn't want to take her favorite shirt over there. I immediately called my ex. I asked him to return our daughter's clothes. Not wanting to throw my daughter under the bus, I blamed it on them not having enough for school. He played dumb. He said he got rid of the clothes that were too small. I pointed out that the jeans our 7-year-old had were brand new. He then said that it was only fair he got some cash because he owned a trailer and land. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be doing this good. I got angry. I took my daughters down to the dollar store and bought cheap shirts, and to a thrift store and bought cheap shorts. Then we had a girls' tie-dye night and hot pink everything. Each made 5 shirts and 5 bottoms. I let our girls design and decorate them. My girls loved it. The following week, X sends the girls home. I could tell he is mad, but he didn't say anything. But the clothes were not returned. No worries. I knew this would be an issue, so we made extras. When the girls went back, they were wearing tie-dye again. They were with their dad for an hour before he called and demanded different clothes. I kindly told him that our daughters love those clothes. They really, really love tie-dye. X got even angrier and said his parents have a major family party, and the girls can't wear pink tie-dye. I told him that he should go buy other clothes if he didn't want them to wear it. He called me an a-hole for being petty. Am I? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Keep a record of what goes over there and back, as you can have the child support changed to show he is taking it back. Mighty bold of you to think that man pays child support. If he's stealing clothes from his daughters to sell, I highly doubt he's actually paying child support. Not the whole. You need to take this man to court. He is stealing from his children and doesn't care that it is causing them clear and understandable distress. Seconded, what kind of parent sells their children's clothing off their backs because it was only fair they got some cash? A huge a-hole or a substance addict? I'm worried that it could be the latter. Either way, it might be worth taking to a lawyer about getting full custody. Not the a-hole. My son's dad and his affair partner tried this when he was young. Wasn't selling them, was just keeping any new clothing and returning him an old/dirty/outgrown stuff his affair partner's kid used to wear, and giving my son's stuff to affair partner's kid. Told him that wouldn't fly. What left this house comes back to this house with our son. His affair partner retaliated by dumping grape soda into my son's overnight bag. So I took him to court. Judge ordered he had to keep clothing and toys at his house, and what our son arrived with was what he returned with. And it had to be clean unless the visit was less than a day trip. Anything missing/damaged, he had to reimburse me for. Thank you. I wasn't sure how this would go if we went back to court. You seem to have more of a case than I did. Your Rex is selling their stuff for cash. Most judges rule what is best for the children involved. Like others have said, keep records of him admitting he somehow deserves the money from selling his own children's belongings. Keep receipts of what you've bought. Take pictures of what they leave wearing/packing, etc. State simply that you want everything returned in the condition it left in. That he has to keep clothing/toys there at his place, if that is your wish as well. My ex was an idiot. His affair partner didn't want him talking to me on the phone about our son, so made him keep to emails/texts. Our son is a grown adult now, and I don't think his dad ever realized just how much that bit him in the butt by having everything always in writing. That's what I should probably do. Just not answer the phone and force him to send a text or leave a voicemail. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife our daughter is more important than she is? Our daughter is turning 18 in October. She's a great kid. Always pulled straight A's, never in any type of trouble, and she's very respectful. My wife recently decided to have a talk with her about adult responsibilities. I have no knowledge of this conversation until my daughter came to me crying because she was scared about living on her own. I was confused at first. Then she told me her mother said she needs to start looking for a job because she'll be expected to get her own place after her birthday. I was appalled because we never discussed throwing her out at 18. When I confronted my wife, she said our daughter wasn't a child anymore and needed our push to become an adult. I told her I was really baffled that she would exclude me from such a serious decision/conversation. I asked my wife how does she expect our kid to make it on minimum wage, especially considering the rent is out of control in our area. She then informs me she had planned for us to pay half her rent until she was 20. I then asked her why she wanted our kid gone so bad. As the argument intensified, I believe she slipped by saying she needed a space, daughter's bedroom, for her art studio. I couldn't believe it. I told my wife if her hobby was more important than our daughter, she should be the one looking to rent. However, she took that as me saying move out, but that's not how I meant it. I was implying for her to rent more space for a studio and to leave our daughter alone. She didn't believe that's what I actually meant. She then gave me the silent treatment for 3 days. Our daughter, however, was still upset as she processed her mother wanting her out. She realized moving into a rental meant she had to leave her 2 cats behind. She's had these cats since she was a young child. That alone devastated her. She told me, I don't want to turn 18. I don't want to celebrate my birthday. I picked the arguments back up with my wife at that point. I said, our daughter isn't moving out until she decides on her own terms, because she is more important than you or your hobby. She looked stunned, and maybe in the heat of the moment I didn't choose my words wisely. I just couldn't bear to see our daughter so upset any longer. I don't want her struggling to make ends meet and not be able to follow her dreams. The last thing I want for her is to feel rushed. As far as my wife goes, she's not talking to me at all and she's been cold towards our daughter. Not the a-hole. Your wife is. While 18 may very well be the age you become an adult, 18 is not an age where most people are prepared to live on their own. Your wife is absolutely the a-hole because she should have had a conversation with you before arbitrarily making an absolute asinine decision. It may be time to take a good hard look at your marriage. Putting an art studio ahead of a child's welfare and well-being is ludicrous. Edit. OP, if you have not thought about planning for the unexpected, you should. Please make sure you have a will in place to protect your daughter. Life happens. Additionally, think about some therapy to help deal with any anxiety. Turning 18 should be a happy time for her. While 18 may very well be the age to become an adult, 18 is not an age where most people are prepared to live on their own. Not to mention, you don't stop being a parent when your child is 18 or 20 or any other age. You should be there for your kid, and they'll be there for you. If the daughter is kicked out to make space for an art studio, I doubt she'd feel good coming to her parents for help if she ever needs it. I definitely wouldn't. I was welcome back home when the pandemonium started. I'm saving up to be actually independent, and will be paying rent after I graduate. I'm currently paying for everything except basic food and shelter, car insurance, clothes, pet care, etc. And I fully expect to be there for my parents as they age too, just like they're here for me. Not the a-hole. This is the hill to die on. You weren't that far off when you said maybe your wife should rent instead. How unbelievably cruel she is to her own child to prioritize an art room over her daughter. I don't want to get bad, so that's all I will say. I simply cannot imagine the incredible amount of selfishness that would cause someone to spring this on everyone else in the household for an art studio. Here's hoping all her art she is prioritizing over her own daughter ends up in the unwanted pile after a garage sale, and she drives by at the moment it's chucked into a garbage crusher. Next story is titled, "Am I the a-hole for demanding my stepkid pay me back for my golf clubs or I'll never give him another dime?" I'm 32 male married to Kayla, 36 female, and she has a son, 16 male. Drew overall is a good kid, plays sports and has good friends. I started dating Kayla when he was 10 and I was never asked to be a father figure. Drew has a dad. His dad doesn't really put in much effort, but he still does show up sometimes. Kayla made it clear she wasn't looking for a dad for her son, but that whoever she ended up with would need to be respectful of Drew. I'm not into having kids, so this worked out. Me and Drew are cordial, but it's almost like an older cousin type relationship. His mom told me from the beginning that I wasn't ever to discipline Drew. My role was just to be there for serious issues. I'm an avid golfer and my clubs are my baby. I golf 2 to 3 times a week. I keep my clubs in the basement and away from Drew and his friends. I come home last week and go to look for my clubs and they're gone. Called Kayla and Drew. Kayla said Drew went golfing with his friends. I asked if she said she could take my clubs. She said she didn't ask about clubs, so I kept calling Drew. Well, he comes home the next morning. He said he borrowed them. I got angry and said he should have told me first, which he apologized for. Then the bombshell. He lost them. Said he put them in the trunk in his car and spent the night at a friend's. In the morning, the clubs were gone. I blew a gasket. I called his friend's parents, the cops, and went to his friend's house to look for them. They're gone. I demanded to be repaid. The total cost of my bag, clubs, balls, and other stuff in my bag is over $3,000. Kayla said she would be punishing Drew, but that I should let the cost of the clubs go because we are family. I laugh because that isn't what she said when it comes to discipline or other issues. I should accept being out of $3,000 for someone who isn't even my kid? I said I want actual money. Me and Kayla have split finances. So she's saying that if I'm demanding money, then it's like I'm asking her to fork over $3,000. I said that is her issue, not mine. She then asked if Drew could work off the debt by doing the lawn, projects, and more chores till the debt is clear. I said no chance. She's saying that Drew can't get a job because of sports, so I needed to just accept his apology, her punishment, and hard labor as repayment. I want actual repayment and not lip service. So I will not be giving Drew anything till I recoup my money. No Christmas, birthday, graduation gifts. I will not give him money for gas, dates, or food like I had before. If he asks me for something that will cost money, I'll just say golf clubs till I got $3,000 back. Kayla is saying that isn't how you treat family who makes a mistake. I said Drew might be family, but that doesn't mean I have to be a doormat. A few of my friends see my side and others are calling me an a-hole. Am I? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole, but the bottleneck is not Drew. It's Kayla. She's the one who has adults level money, and she's the one who is refusing to pay you compensation for what her son did. Correct behavior on her part would be to pay you herself, rather than making Drew do it, and then to discipline Drew in whatever way she, as his parent, believes is most likely to teach him to behave better in the future. Right now, the problem is that she's complaining and outraged that it's like you're asking her to fork over $3,000. But you should be asking exactly that, because she should indeed fork over $3,000 out of her own money. Since you two keep separate finances in the first place, that's an easy way to compensate you for your clubs. So why is she objecting to it? And why are you letting her get away with dodging? So that you feel you can't get your money back except in tiny bits and pieces from not giving things to Drew? She should be paying you back. You should be staying firm with her about this. This is the way. Drew should be working off the $3,000 he owes her after she pays OB. That's her decision. Yes, it's the way I would do it if it were my kid. But she's his mother. She gets to decide what form of discipline is right for him. I don't know Drew, and every child is different. She does. So hopefully she'll be able to decide on a form of consequences which will be impactful for him. But none of that, based on Opie's description of his relationship with both mother and son, should be Opie's problem. He should be getting his money back from the kid's mother, and after that it's no longer his business how she handles it. It's between her and her son. Not stay home. I don't believe, not for a minute, that they were just stolen by a stranger. Same here. Any damage to the car? Not mentioned, so I assume not. Someone got the golf clubs out of a locked trunk but didn't damage the car? Red flags. Last story. Am I the a-hole for being annoyed boyfriend is home on my day off? Title's a bit weird, let me explain. So, my boyfriend and I both work the day shift, so we are both home after 6 p.m. We have our days off set up, that he is off Saturday and Sundays and I am off Sundays and Mondays. We each get one day off to ourselves to just be alone and do our own thing, and then one day off together to do whatever we want as well. My boyfriend and I have fairly different hobbies. We split doing his/me things together throughout the week. He's really into fitness and working out and always being active. I'm a pretty strong gamer and enjoy SFX and more indoor and less sweaty things. So, he stayed up stupid late last night and called in work this morning. 9 out of 10 times I wouldn't care. But it's Monday. It's my only day to myself, and he is constantly bugging me to go work out with him, or go on a hike, or generally to just be active because he's bored. Again, 9 over 10 times wouldn't matter, and I'd spend a few hours doing whatever he wanted. I just needed this day to just be quiet and dark and me time. I am 100% on the opposite end of a social person. I just want my one day to be alone, to recuperate for the week. I look forward to this one day the entire week. I'm definitely annoyed, and definitely showing it, even though I'm trying not to. I have tried explaining this. I've tried being nice and just telling him I need some me time, and he's just not listening. I pretty much snapped and told him to just leave me the heck alone for a bit. And now he's sulking in the living room. Am I the a-hole? This keeps coming up. It's not a one-off. He does call in about one day a month, sometimes two. His job allows this as long as they are ahead of schedule. This is why I say 9 over 10 times I do not care, and can usually be alone on these days. We still spend the evening together, when he'd usually be home from work. We split our hobbies together as well. I bike, hike, work out 3 to 4 days a week, and he plays games and lets me cover him with makeup. It's not like we don't do things together. Not the a-hole. This may not be a popular opinion, but as an introvert with a partner who also works from home full-time, I need my time. You have every right to want your own time without him trying to get you to do stuff with him when he called into work. For staying up too late, not even because he was genuinely ill, and it should have been your day to relax and recover. Totally agree. Opie's not a-hole. I dated a guy like Opie's significant other. Every single moment not working had to be spent attached at the hip. Kids and pets aren't even as clingy as that guy was. It was like I was his sole source of entertainment and he had no clue how to entertain himself. He had to be in the same room as me at all times. I couldn't even go to the gym on my own without him sulking. No, wasn't meeting anyone there. I just preferred music to trying to hold a conversation while working out. I was very much like Opie and very possessive of my own day off to myself. I dealt with the public in my job. It was very mentally exhausting. When I was dating my husband, I asked him once what he would do if I didn't feel like watching a movie and went into a different room to read a book. His answer? He'd leave me to my book and ask if I wanted a refill on my coffee when he finished the movie. The ex would stop the movie and follow me. Talking non-stop. Wasn't even following me to read a book himself. I found that I was less possessive of my me time with my husband because I knew I would get it without a sulking toddler theatrics. Even unexpected days off. I now work from home. He'll ask if I have to work that day, and if I do, he leaves me be during the day and entertains himself in the house or putters around a wood shop. Even if I don't, he asks what my plans were for the day over breakfast. Sometimes we do stuff together. Other times, woodshop puttering.